What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Today, we're going to be talking about tools and the ways that I organize them. Let's get into it. Okay, so what I mean by tools is what I use for my gear maintenance, whether that be the knives or other things that that I personally use in my everyday carry or everyday use. So I kind of wanted to run through that. So I'm just going to really quickly hit the pouches because I covered these in my pouch organizers. Essentially what I'm carrying in here is kind of a combo. So I have like some cords that I use to recharge things like flashlights, earbuds, things of that nature. I really like these lever gear bit storages for like portable or compact storage of bits, and I love tools that allow you to stash it. Victorinox are really helpful, especially with the large flat screw and flashlights. So that's kind of what you see in here. I keep this in my backpack for work, and that cloth is actually for cleaning my glasses, so I don't use that for anything else. I also happen to keep some gum picks here for food, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm just going to move that to the side really quickly. These are kind of the main two things that I use for my gear. So they kind of repeat. So I'm going to show this one really fast. This one here has my thread locker, same things that I mentioned before in the other storage. And then we're starting to get into the slightly larger drivers and then bit storage as well, band-aids. And then this one is actually for cleaning, excess oil on the fingers, thread locker. And because, these come a dime a dozen, I just swap these out once they get too dirty in this particular organizer. So this one here floats upstairs. I have my main setup. Downstairs is floats, and this can go out to the garage if I need it to. I did recently pick up some super lube. I want to see if this applicator can be refilled. And if it can be, then I'll reuse it, but it looks like it's sealed, so I may not be able to use this one as I thought, but I think I'm going to probably take the pin out of here and the pad out of here and stick this in instead. Because it floats at home, I have pins and pads everywhere, so it's kind of overlapping there a little bit. All right, now let's get into the big stuff that I use for knife care and maintenance. The first thing I want to talk about is this finger bit driver. It is linked all the way at the bottom, but when you click on more down in the description, there's links down there for these drivers. I like these because I'm able to use their knurling to hold it in place, hold the knife and hold the bit in place and I'm gonna just use a flashlight to just demonstrate this, but you can put the bit in there and then you can really hold that in place, and then you're able to kind of keep that one in place while you're moving it. So I really like these. It was like a 3-pack for 20 bucks. I think it was blue, red, and gold. This one just kind of lives out here. You can see this has gotten plenty of use. The anodized aluminum is all scarred up. So that's the first piece that I wanted to go over. The next thing, I really like the burrito from NAS. This is a great way to organize and create like a really quick mat, so I don't have to have it dedicated on the table. For my maintenance disassembly, you probably have seen this in all of my disassembly videos. It is not the most high-tech mat out there for sure, but it's definitely one of my favorites. And then just whatever cloth, I have that on standby, cleaning the pivot, the knife, and everything like that for the disassembly and maintenance. So on the bottom, the reason I like this is because it's got a nice little space for working. The crease where it folds to close works well for titanium bits so they don't go anywhere. And then way down here on the bottom, the magnets that close it also double as a place for your steel bits. All right, so let's talk about the actual tool, the tool roll itself. So in here I have thread locker. I do like the paste. I am patient enough to allow this to cure. I don't know if it tells you how long it takes to cure, but I typically have found like leaving it overnight definitely does the job, but leaving it for a couple of days really ensures that if you have like a pivot that wants to have some strong walking. I recently discovered this T6 bit from Weeha. I've had a couple people tell me that the bit is even hard, the tool is even harder than the bits, and it's less likely to strip. So I like this, that it's dedicated, because it does help me from having to swap bits as often. So like Civivi, they like to use T6 a lot in their pocket clips and T8 everywhere else. So this would be great as a dedicated small bit tool to have in there, and that fits right there beside my thread locker. The other thing that I have, and I'm not going to really try to steer you towards any type of lube, but I have my Hops gun oil in this applicator. This is what I was hoping the super lube would be able to replace. I don't think it's going to work though. But this applicator works okay. It's just, I think I broke it. So it leans all the time or melted. I'm not sure. And then it kind of seeps out a little bit. So it's not the greatest applicator, but it certainly has gotten the job done over the last year. I was just looking to see if I could find a little bit of a nicer applicator, but it seems like all these precision applicators aren't really that great. I love having a pry bar. Titanium's a little bit softer than hardened steel, so it's less inclined to damage. But again, if you're prying on anything, you're running the risk of damaging it. This one was just made by We. I found it on Amazon. I don't even think it's listed as a We titanium driver. I can't remember how I stumbled across it, and then I just did an ano on it because I thought it'd be fun. I like to practice, and these things, you know, they're so affordable. This is a great way to practice your anodizing. But it does have a bottle opener, and it does, again, allow for prying. I'm not quite sure what the split is for, maybe for wire stripping for like a set size, but I really find that it helps with trying to just move stuff apart if I'm not able to get enough grip with the fingers. The bit drivers are going to kind of be, you know, your choice. You can find Scout tools. You can find the Griffin tool by Combat Beads for $100. I think the Audacious Concept bit driver is a little bit less than that. But really, if you don't want to spend that much money on a tool to maintenance, then I highly recommend the stubby bit driver from Weha. That one is linked down below. I do like these though because they accommodate my larger hands, and then I like the bearings on the back because they allow just, you know, a little bit more quicker movement. And because I'm doing the videos, I do like to try to save time where I can. This one here lives with the T8 in it on top of this on the side, because in my personal life, if I've under tightened a bit or it's backing out, I'll use this to adjust it and kind of just quickly grab it before I go to bed or when I come upstairs, kind of sort of the way that I use the one downstairs. So I do like to have one on the top. If I were recommending the two, if you like a tool that feels a little bit more weighty in hand than the titanium, bit drivers, regardless of which one you like, are going to be better for you. That micarta one I showed earlier that was in the one that floats in the house, and this Ultim one is definitely more lightweight. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're trying to pick out your bits. I'm just going to set this aside because I know it's not going to go back in there. A couple other little things that I like for cleaning, for carrying, and this is the other one. I keep this as a backup. The finger bit driver that comes in that 3-pack for 20. I need to reload these. I have another stash in here. I'm going to show you that in a second. But these little circuit board cleaners that have like the Q-tips on the end, they're great for the detent ball, getting down into the threads, things like that. I really like them. They do a great job picking up the oil. I have some odd-shaped, odd-sized bits in here. I can't remember what it is. I think this is my extra T6. And I think this was a T10 that came with something. I can't remember what it was. And it looks rounded, so I probably need to throw that out. And then I have all Weha bits here. I have two T10s, the one T8 that's in that Audacious Concept over there. So the two T8s and then two T6s here. This one here looks like it's gotten some use. I must have tested it to see that it still works, and it's just colored. I have, again, the cardboard for centering, and then some flat heads, Phillip heads. Can't remember what that is for. Oh, that came with these. I just threw that in there because I was up here when I took it out the box. And then I think these are like just some older T10s and T6s that I tried from a different brand that I didn't really like. I feel like there's a T15 in here somewhere because I have a T15 for, is that what that is? No, that's too small. I have a T15 in here somewhere. Oh no, I don't. It's in the thing that I'm getting ready to show you. So that's everything that's in my tool roll. These are what I typically use the most. I do set the little cardboard in here. How do I do this? This goes on the bottom. I do wish that the netting wasn't so grabby. I kind of set these in between, and then I always throw these extra bits, or just my main bits really, underneath the little piece of cardboard that I use for centering, just so that it doesn't catch the netting. And then I just throw my little cute circuit board cleaners in here. I don't know why I'm keeping this. I think that's my extra T6 for when one goes bad. I don't know why that Lenovo or whatever it's called is in here. So this is really my main setup here. This is typically everything that I use for knife maintenance. I do have a couple other little things that I'm going to show you really quickly. I'm going to set this over here. I do have like this little organizer. You probably never see this when I go off screen to grab it. There's a couple little things that are in here that are very handy to me that we'll go over really quickly. So my skiff and skiff tools live in this pouch. So if you haven't ever seen this, if you go to Skiff Bearings website or Skiff's website for their bearings, you can pick up their bearings. I think I actually need to order some. I think I'm getting low on my 5mm, I think, again, or my 3/16. I can't remember. I think it's my 5mm. But that's really helpful because you can kind of check to make sure that you're grabbing the right one, or if you don't have it in stock, that's where it's really helpful. You can measure and you can find what size that you need. And then I keep the factory bearings just in case. I have, the magnets are sticking. I have, for plunge locks, I have a couple of different springs that I've been able to locate online that I've grabbed. These don't cover everything though, unfortunately. The super glue, I don't use that for thread locker. Those are more for when I was trying the magnets, and then I realized that the epoxy was the way to go. These are those magnets that I have in my Demco 80-20.5. I have another knife coming in that I know that they'll fit, that I'll be using them on, but they're really strong. They grab onto everything. I do have a headlamp. So if I'm in a low lit area, if I'm doing something like sharpening, up here I have really good light, but downstairs I don't. So if I'm sharpening or something like that at the main table where I need the space, I'll actually throw this headlamp on. And it really helps with the sharpening, so I can see my angle on everything really good. I do keep, just in case, strop up here. I think this needs to be, I need more compound put on it. With the ceramic rod is really the main things that I use that for. My eraser here is just to kind of clean and make sure that there's like no leftover metals or shavings or anything on there. Extra circuit board cleaners, these are extra bits. I have the WeHa bit. Oop, that's the wrong one. This one here is your metric. My poor rats in here. These are labeled so I can find them really easily. And then if I have like a US knife or something like that, I have the hex here. So I keep both up here just in case. I do have this is probably my oldest knife in my collection, my Rat 1. I keep this in here just in case. I really don't ever find that I need it for anything like that, but I really liked this one a lot. It was when I was experimenting with acid etch stone washing and jimping and things like that, and it's, I think this is D2. That says Taiwan. You can't even see it anymore. Yeah, D2 steel. I keep this around. This is just a place I've always kept it with these tools, but I hardly ever use the old Rat anymore. And then I keep an extra Sharpie, as I mentioned earlier. That's more for the sharpening, so I'll probably take this down and put the compound on it. The magnets are sticking to each other. Oh my gosh, let me put the magnets down. So I just, organize this in here the best that I can. But that's everything. That is everything that I keep together for knife tool and maintenance. I do recommend, I do a bunch. Honestly, those WeHa bits should last you a really, really long time, for regular maintenance. Being that I have a channel, I go through them a little bit faster, so I do have like a lot of volume of those bits. But they do last a long time. Like, I get tons of disassemblies out of them before I run into any type of issues. But that's everything that I can think of as far as like my maintenance. I do have some odd and end stuff here that I keep around. I have tweezers. This is more for like the flashlight stuff. This micro flathead is coming handy. I can't think of something right now. The Sharpie for marking the blades when I'm doing sharpening, or when I'm covering the labels for the mail calls when that comes in. I feel like that's everything, y'all. I think that's everything. Any questions about anything that I've gone over, or anything that you use that you like for your tool and maintenance? Lube is just preference, so I really don't harp on that too much. I feel like everybody pushes KPL, and while I'm sure it's fine, I've just always trusted hops because I use those for firearms, and I really feel like it's going to work well with knives. I've found over time you got to use just a small amount of lube, because otherwise it goes everywhere with hops. Like just the smallest amount. Like if you put too much, clean it off a little bit and just work it in, because a little bit goes a long way. I hope this was insightful for you or helpful for you, for those of you out there that were interested in this. As far as knife storage, I'm gonna have to do a different video because the cases just won't fit up here on the tabletop, so I gotta kind of think about how I'm gonna do that. But it's really just a couple hard cases, a couple knife rolls, but I'll go over it to share it with you guys and share with you where I got it and everything like that. I hope you enjoyed this one. Shout out to everyone out there that likes, uses those links, comments, and is subscribed. Shout out to my members. You're going to get that early access to this one. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.